The overhead lights in Peterson's grocery cast everything in harsh white as Elena Martinez reaches the checkout counter, her arms trembling under the weight of two reusable shopping bags filled with carefully selected items. Every product represents a calculation, a compromise, a small surrender to the reality of her new life. Generic rice, store-brand peanut butter, the bruised apples from the discount bin. Day-old bread marked down to 99 cents. Her daughter Sofia is home with Mrs. Chen, the elderly neighbor who watches her for free because Elena helped her after her hip surgery last year. 5 years old and starting to ask questions Elena can't answer. Why don't we have our old house anymore, Mommy? Why can't I take dance classes like my friend Emma? Why do you cry in the bathroom when you think I'm asleep? Elena shifts the bags, wincing as the handles dig into her palms. She worked a double at the diner yesterday, 6 in the morning until midnight, her feet screaming in shoes held together with superglue. Then she cleaned offices until 3 a.m., 4 hours of sleep before Sofia's nightmare woke them both. She's so tired she can barely see straight, but groceries don't buy themselves. The woman ahead of her finishes, and Elena steps up to register 3. The cashier is young, early 20s maybe, with elaborately painted nails and a bored expression that doesn't change when Elena starts unloading her items. The name tag reads Jessica, in perky letters that match nothing about her demeanor. Elena places each item on the belt with care. Pasta, canned tomatoes, chicken thighs, the cheapest protein. A small bunch of bananas because Sofia needs fruit, and these were the only ones Elena could afford. A jar of store-brand pasta sauce, bread, milk. The total builds on the screen. $27.34. Elena has $28 on her prepaid card. She checked it 3 times this morning, refreshing her banking app until the number burned into her brain. Enough for groceries. Barely enough, but enough. She'll have 76 cents left. Not enough for anything meaningful, but proof she's still surviving. Still managing to keep her daughter fed. That everything? Jessica asks without looking up, already scanning the next item. Yes, thank you. The total flashes, $27.34. Elena slides her card through the reader, holding her breath. This moment has become a ritual of anxiety. Every transaction a potential disaster. Every purchase a gamble that her ex-husband hasn't found another way to sabotage her accounts. The machine beeps. Then the screen flashes red. Declined. Elena's heart drops into her stomach. That can't be right. Can you try again? Jessica sighs, the sound loaded with irritation, and scans the card again. The machine takes longer this time, making Elena's pulse thunder in her ears. Then, declined. Your card declined, ma'am. Jessica's voice cuts through the store, loud enough that people in nearby aisles turn to look. There must be a mistake, Elena says, her voice shaking. I checked this morning. I have $28. The total is 27. Well, the system says you don't. Jessica crosses her arms, her expression hardening into something ugly. Maybe you miscounted. I didn't miscount. I checked 3 times. Could there be a problem with your machine? The machine is fine. Jessica's lip curls. It's subtle, but Elena sees it. The sneer. The judgment. Your money is the problem. Heat floods Elena's face. Behind her, she hears someone sigh impatiently. The line is growing. She's holding people up. Being a problem. Being that customer. Please, Elena tries to keep her voice level. Could you try once more? Or maybe I could call my bank. Your card declined, ma'am. Jessica says it slower this time, deliberately enunciating each word like Elena is stupid, like she's trash. That means you don't have money. Maybe you should shop somewhere more appropriate for your situation. The words land like slaps. Elena feels her eyes burning, her throat closing. She wants to explain that 6 months ago she had money, had a career, had a life. That her ex-husband drained their accounts before he left. That he's been sabotaging her ever since. Freezing accounts, calling her employers, making sure she can't rebuild. But Jessica doesn't care about explanations. No one does. I just... Elena's hands shake as she reaches for her phone. Let me just check my account. There has to be... Ma'am. Jessica's sneer deepens, her voice dripping with contempt. I have other customers waiting. If you can't pay, you need to move aside. This is embarrassing. Embarrassing. The word echoes in Elena's head. Yes, it is embarrassing. Standing here in her worn Target jeans and faded sweater, unable to afford $27 of groceries, unable to feed her daughter, unable to do the most basic thing a mother should do. Please, Elena whispers, hating herself for begging. Is there someone I can speak to? A manager? I can prove the money should be there. Your card declined, ma'am. Jessica picks up the PA phone, her sneer widening. Maybe next time don't come shopping if you can't afford it. There are food banks for people like... Try mine. The voice comes from behind Elena, deep and quiet, but it cuts through the noise of the store like a blade through silk. Everything stops. Jessica's sneer freezes. The people in line go silent. Elena turns. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. The man standing 3 feet behind her doesn't belong in Peterson's grocery. He belongs in magazines, in boardrooms, in places where people like Elena aren't allowed. He's tall, easily over 6 feet, with dark hair styled with the kind of casual perfection that takes money and effort to achieve. His suit is charcoal gray, perfectly tailored, the fabric so fine it seems to absorb light. No tie, his collar open just enough to seem relaxed while maintaining absolute authority. But it's his face that steals Elena's breath. Sharp jawline shadowed with deliberate stubble. Straight nose, full lips currently set in a firm line, and his eyes, dark, almost black, focused on her with an intensity that makes her skin prickle with awareness. He's beautiful in that dangerous way, the way that makes smart women stupid. And he's looking at her like she's the only person in the world. I'm sorry? Elena manages, her voice barely audible. The man steps forward. It's a single movement, but it changes everything. Suddenly he's beside her, close enough that she can smell his cologne, something expensive with cedar and bergamot that probably has an Italian name. Close enough to feel the heat radiating from his body, close enough to be protecting her. Try mine, he repeats, pulling a black card from his jacket pocket and extending it toward Jessica. His voice remains quiet, but there's steel underneath. Command. The kind of voice that expects to be obeyed. Put her groceries on my card. Jessica's face has gone pale. Her sneer has vanished, replaced by something that looks like fear. Mr. Romano, I wasn't... Romano. The name hits Elena like cold water. She's heard it before. Whispered in the diner where she works. Whispered with a mixture of fear and respect by people who know things Elena has been too busy surviving to learn. You weren't what? The man, Romano, asks softly. Being respectful? Showing basic human decency? I was just doing my job, sir. Your job is to process transactions, not humiliate customers. His eyes never leave Jessica's face, and Elena watches the younger woman actually shrink. Ring up her groceries, now. Jessica's hands shake as she takes the card. She swipes it with the kind of desperate speed that comes from fear. It processes immediately with a cheerful beep that sounds obscene in the tense silence. Elena stands frozen, her mind unable to process what's happening. A stranger just paid for her groceries. A stranger who looks like he could buy this entire store without checking his balance. A stranger whose name makes cashiers go pale. Bag them carefully, Romano says, as Jessica starts shoving items into bags with trembling hands. And with respect. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Elena finds her voice. I can't let you. This is too much. It's $27, Romano says, finally looking at her. Up close, his eyes are even more intense. Not black, she realizes, but such a dark brown they're almost midnight. And they're seeing her. Really seeing her, not looking through her like she's invisible. Hardly too much. For you, maybe. Elena's pride flares even through her shock. But I don't even know you. I can't accept. Dante Romano. He extends his hand. Long fingers, she notices. A Rolex on his wrist that probably costs more than Elena makes in 6 months. Now you know me. Elena stares at his outstretched hand. She should refuse. Should grab her bags and run. Should get as far away from this man as possible because everything about him screams danger. But Sofia is at home, waiting for dinner. The refrigerator is nearly empty, and this man is looking at her like she matters. She takes his hand. Elena Martinez. His grip is warm, firm, completely engulfing her smaller hand. The touch sends electricity up her arm, making her breath catch. Elena, he says, and her name in his deep voice does things to her pulse she doesn't want to examine. Beautiful name for a beautiful woman. Heat floods her cheeks. Mr. Romano. Dante. He releases her hand slowly, like he's reluctant to let go. And before you argue more, your bags are ready. Jessica has indeed finished bagging, her movements careful now, almost reverent. She slides the bags across the counter, avoiding eye contact with both of them. Dante picks them up before Elena can reach for them. I'll walk you to your car. That's not necessary. I insist. It's not a request. He's already moving toward the exit, carrying her groceries like they weigh nothing. Elena has no choice but to follow, acutely aware of every eye in the store tracking their progress, aware of the whispers starting behind them, aware of the 2 men in dark suits near the entrance who straighten when Dante approaches, falling into step behind him like shadows. Bodyguards. Oh God, he has bodyguards. The October Chicago air bites at her skin as they step outside. Elena's car is in the far corner of the lot, a 2008 Honda Civic with rust spots eating through the paint and a passenger door that doesn't quite close right anymore. The muffler is held on with wire hangers and hope. She's never been more embarrassed to point at a vehicle in her life. The blue one, she says quietly. In the corner. Dante doesn't comment on the rust or the dented bumper or the cracked spiderwebbing across the windshield. He just walks to her car and waits while she fumbles with her keys, her hands shaking so badly it takes 3 tries to unlock the trunk. He loads the bags with careful precision, arranging them so nothing will tip over during the drive. His movements are economical, practiced, like he's done this before despite the expensive suit and the obvious wealth. When he's done, he closes the trunk and turns to face her fully. Up close, in natural light, Elena can see more details. The faint scar cutting through his left eyebrow. The shadow of stubble along his jaw. The way his eyes are simultaneously hard and soft, dangerous and gentle. Thank you, Elena forces out. I don't know how to repay. You don't have to repay me. Yes, I do. I'm not a charity case. Something flickers in his expression. Respect, maybe. I never thought you were. Then why did you do that? The question bursts out before she can stop it. Why, did you help me? You don't know me. Dante is quiet for a long moment, studying her face like he's memorizing it. Because, he finally says, I don't like watching people get kicked when they're down, and that cashier was kicking you. That happens to me a lot lately. Not anymore, it doesn't. The words are soft but carry absolute conviction. Not if I can help it. Elena's breath catches. You can't just. I mean, you don't even know me. You can't protect some random stranger from. You're not random. Dante pulls a card from his jacket pocket, extending it toward her. And I'm very good at protecting people I care about. You don't care about me. You just met me. His lips curve in something that's not quite a smile. Maybe I'm a fast judge of character. Elena takes the card with trembling fingers. Heavy stock paper, embossed black lettering. Dante Romano. A phone number. No title, no company name, no business address. Just his name, like that's all anyone needs to know. If you have more trouble, Dante says quietly, with your ex-husband, with your accounts, with anything, call me. How did you... Elena's eyes widen. How do you know about my ex-husband? The way you checked your account 3 times before using your card. The way you flinched when it declined, like you expected sabotage. The way you said, there must be a mistake, instead of, I don't have money. His dark eyes hold hers. Someone's been making your life difficult, and men who abuse women tend to continue finding ways to hurt them, even from a distance. The accuracy of his assessment steals her breath. Yes, he's been... She swallows hard. How did you see all that? I pay attention. Dante steps back, giving her space. Especially to people who interest me. Why would I interest you? Because you have fire in you. His expression is serious now. Even when that cashier was trying to break you down, you stood tall. You didn't cry, didn't make a scene, didn't give her the satisfaction of breaking. That takes strength. Real strength. The kind most people don't have. Elena's throat tightens with emotion she can't name. No one's seen that in her. For 6 months she's been invisible, insignificant, a problem to be dismissed. And this man, this dangerous stranger, sees her. I should go, she whispers. My daughter. She'll worry if I'm late. Of course. Dante gestures toward her car. Drive safely, Elena. She gets in, her hands still shaking as she starts the engine. It catches on the 3rd try, the muffler rattling ominously. In her rearview mirror, she watches Dante walk back toward the store entrance where a black SUV has pulled up. Expensive, tinted windows, the kind that screams money and danger. One of his bodyguards opens the back door. Dante pauses before getting in, turning to look back at her car. Even from this distance, she feels the weight of his gaze. Then he's gone, disappearing into the SUV that pulls away with the smooth silence of German engineering. Elena sits in her rust bucket Honda, staring at the business card in her hand. Her phone is in her pocket. She should Google him, should find out exactly who Dante Romano is. But she's afraid of what she'll find. Instead, she drives home, her mind spinning with questions and possibilities and warnings she knows she should heed. At home, Sofia runs to her the moment she walks through the door. Mami, you were gone forever. I know, mi amor. I'm sorry. Elena drops to her knees, pulling her daughter into a fierce hug. Breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo, feeling her small, solid warmth. This is what matters. But I got everything for dinner. Your favorite. Spaghetti? Sofia's eyes light up. Spaghetti. Elena manages a smile. With the good sauce. After Mrs. Chen leaves with thanks, after Sofia is fed and bathed and tucked into bed with her favorite stuffed rabbit, Elena finally lets herself look at her phone. She pulls up her banking app first. The prepaid card shows a balance of $0.12. Her ex-husband has drained it again. Found another way to access the account she thought was safe. Found another way to hurt her. Rage and helplessness war in her chest. She wants to scream, wants to throw something, wants to drive to wherever Marco is and make him understand the suffering he's causing his own daughter. But she won't, because that's what he wants. To make her break. To prove she's as unstable as he told the court she was. Instead, Elena picks up Dante Romano's card. Her fingers hover over her phone's keyboard. She shouldn't Google him, shouldn't open that door. But she's never been good at doing what she should. She types his name. The results load, and Elena's blood runs cold. Dante Romano, 36. Suspected head of the Romano crime family. Connected to multiple federal investigations but never charged. Owns Romano Enterprises. Legitimate business holdings worth an estimated $200 million. Real estate, restaurants, shipping companies, construction firms. Rumored to control organized crime operations throughout Chicago and parts of the Midwest. Father, Vincent Romano, deceased. Known associates include, the list goes on, articles about suspected racketeering, photos of him at charity galas, always in expensive suits, always with that same quiet authority. FBI surveillance photos taken from distance, grainy but unmistakable. A mobster, a criminal, someone dangerous, someone who'd looked at her like she mattered. Elena should throw away his card, should forget this ever happened, should never think about Dante Romano again. Instead, she tucks the card into her wallet and tries to ignore the way her heart races when she remembers the warmth of his hand in hers. Across the city, in a penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, Dante Romano stands at his floor-to-ceiling windows and thinks about tired eyes and fierce pride. Boss? Marco, his second-in-command, approaches carefully. The shipment from tomorrow. Dante doesn't turn around. We'll handle it tomorrow. Is everything okay? Dante thinks about Elena Martinez, about the way she'd refused to cry even when that little bitch of a cashier had tried to humiliate her. About the faded bruise he'd noticed on her wrist. Mostly healed but still visible if you knew what to look for. About the haunted look in her eyes that spoke of recent trauma. About the way something in his chest had tightened when he'd seen her standing there, trying so hard to be invisible. Run a full background check, he says quietly. Elena Martinez, age approximately 30, works at a diner, has a 5-year-old daughter. I want to know everything, her ex-husband especially, who he is, where he is, what he's been doing to her. Marco pulls out his phone. How deep do you want me to go? All the way. Dante's reflection in the window shows his expression hardening. And Marco? Be discreet. I don't want her to know we're looking into her. Not yet. Understood, boss. Marco hesitates. Is she important? Dante finally turns, meeting his second's eyes. She's going to be. Elena wakes to her alarm at 5:30 a.m., her body protesting before her eyes even open. Every muscle aches from yesterday's double shift, and her mind immediately floods with the memory of what happened at Peterson's grocery. Dante Romano. She'd dreamed about him. About dark eyes and expensive cologne, and a voice that made her feel seen for the first time in months. She'd woken up twice during the night, her heart racing, telling herself it meant nothing. A stranger paid for her groceries. That's all. A wealthy man did a kind thing. It doesn't mean anything, except she can't stop thinking about the way he'd looked at her, like she was worth protecting. Sofia is still asleep, her small body curled around her stuffed rabbit. Elena kisses her forehead gently before heading to the bathroom. The mirror shows what she expected. Dark circles under her eyes, her hair a mess of curls that needs washing, the exhaustion etched into every line of her face. She's 32 and looks 40. 6 months ago, she'd had a good job as a nurse at Northwestern Memorial. She'd had a nice apartment, savings, a future. Then Marco had shown his true colors, The controlling behavior escalating to violence, the isolation tactics, the financial abuse. When she'd finally gotten the courage to leave, he'd destroyed everything. Called her supervisor, told lies about her stealing medication, got her blacklisted from every hospital in Chicago through his cousin who sat on the medical board, drained their joint accounts, made sure she couldn't rebuild. The restraining order is a piece of paper. It doesn't stop him from finding new ways to hurt her. Elena showers quickly in lukewarm water. The hot water heater is broken, and the landlord keeps promising to fix it, and dresses in her diner uniform. Black pants, white shirt, comfortable shoes that have seen better days. She makes Sofia breakfast, leaves it covered on the table with a note decorated with hearts. Mrs. Chen will come at 7 to get Sofia ready for kindergarten. The morning shift at Rosie's diner starts at 6. Elena can't be late. The bus ride takes 40 minutes, stopping and starting through Chicago's early morning traffic. Elena keeps her head down, her hand wrapped around the pole, trying not to think about the card burning a hole in her wallet. Call me if you need anything. She doesn't need anything. She's surviving. That's enough. Except her bank account is empty. Again. And rent is due in 5 days. And Sofia needs new shoes because the duct tape is barely holding the current pair together. Elena pushes the thoughts away as she arrives at Rosie's. The diner is an institution on the south side, greasy spoons that serves breakfast all day and has been run by the same family for 40 years. The pay is terrible, but they don't ask questions about backgrounds or references. Morning, Elena, Rosie calls from behind the counter. She's 65, tough as nails, with a heart bigger than her mouth. You look like hell. Thanks, Rosie. Love you too. I'm serious. You okay? Just tired. Elena ties her apron, grabbing her order pad. What's the morning looking like? Usual crowd. Got a party of 8 coming in at 7. Some business breakfast. Rosie gives her a look. You sure you're okay? Because if that ex of yours is causing trouble again, I'm fine. Elena forces a smile. Promise. The morning rushes by in a blur of coffee, refills, orders, and the constant motion that keeps her from thinking too hard. Eggs over easy, hash browns, pancakes, bacon. The smell of grease and coffee becomes a familiar comfort. At 7, the business party arrives. 8 men in suits, clearly here to discuss something important before heading to their real jobs. Elena approaches with her pad and her best customer service smile. Good morning, gentlemen. What can I get started for you? She's taking their drink orders. 6 coffees, 1 tea, 1 orange juice, when the door chimes again. Elena doesn't look up, focused on writing down who ordered what. Then Rosie's voice cuts through the diner chatter, unusually sharp. Well, good morning, Mr. Romano. Haven't seen you here in a while. Elena's head snaps up. Dante Romano stands in the doorway, looking impossibly out of place in his charcoal suit among the working-class breakfast crowd. His dark eyes scan the diner until they find her, and something in his expression softens. He came here. He found her. Elena's heart hammers in her chest as Dante walks past the business party, past the counter, directly to a booth in her section. He sits down, his movements casual, like this is something he does every day, like he didn't just track down where she works. I'll be right back, Elena tells the business party, her voice surprisingly steady. She walks to Dante's booth on shaking legs. Up close, in the harsh diner lighting, he's even more devastating. The morning sun through the window catches the sharp angles of his face, the expensive fabric of his suit, the Rolex on his wrist that probably costs more than everything in this diner combined. Mr. Romano. She keeps her voice professional. What can I get you? Dante. He corrects gently. And coffee would be great. Black. Elena writes it down, even though she'll remember. Her handwriting is shaky. Anything to eat? What do you recommend? The pancakes are good. The hash browns are better. She meets his eyes. But you didn't come here for breakfast recommendations, did you? His lips curve. No. I came to see you. Why? The question comes out sharper than she intends. How did you even know I worked here? I asked around. He says it like it's nothing. Like tracking down a stranger's workplace is a normal thing. Elena, we need to talk. I'm working. I can wait. Mr. Romano. Dante. His voice is firm now. And I'm not leaving until we talk. So you can either take your break now, or I can sit here all morning ordering coffee and taking up a table. Your choice. Elena wants to be angry, wants to tell him to leave, to stop interfering in her life, to go back to his world of money and danger and leave her alone. But Sofia needs shoes, and rent is due, and her bank account is empty, and this man is looking at her like she's the most important thing in the room. Let me get your coffee, she says quietly, and put in orders for my other table. Then we can talk. Something like satisfaction flashes in his eyes. Thank you. Elena delivers coffee to Dante, takes the business party's food orders, and tells Rosie she needs to take her break early. Rosie gives her a look that says they'll be discussing this later, but waves her toward Dante's booth. Elena slides into the seat across from him, acutely aware of the eyes watching them. In a place like Rosie's, everyone knows everyone else's business. By tomorrow, half the neighborhood will know she sat with Dante Romano. Talk, she says, wrapping her hands around her own coffee mug for something to do. What do you want? Your ex-husband drained your bank account yesterday. It's not a question. After you left the grocery store, Elena's blood runs cold. How do you... I had someone look into it. Dante's expression is serious. Marco Reyes, age 34, currently unemployed, living with his cousin in Naperville. He's been accessing your accounts through a banking app he installed on your phone 6 months ago, before you left. You don't know it's there because he disguised it as a system update. The information hits her like a physical blow. You investigated me. I investigated the man who's been hurting you. Dante leans forward. Elena, he's not going to stop. He's systematically destroying your ability to survive because he can't control you anymore. That's what abusers do. I know what abusers do. Elena's voice shakes with anger and something else. Fear, because Dante is right. I lived with one for 4 years. I don't need you to tell me. What you need, Dante interrupts gently, is help. Real help. The kind that actually stops him. And you're offering that? Why? Elena leans back, studying him. Because you paid for my groceries? Because you think I'm some damsel in distress who needs saving? No. His dark eyes hold hers. Because I know what it's like to watch someone you love suffer and feel powerless to stop it. My mother. He stops, his jaw tightening. My father hurt her for years, and I was too young to help her until it was too late. The raw pain in his voice steals Elena's breath. This isn't a line. This is real. I'm sorry, she says softly, but I'm not your mother, and I don't need $50,000. Elena blinks. What? That's how much debt your ex-husband put in your name before you left. Dante pulls out his phone, shows her a screen filled with numbers. Credit cards she never opened. Loans she never took out. All in her name. All tanking her credit score. He's been systematically destroying your financial life. The hospital blacklisting was just the beginning. Elena stares at the numbers, her vision blurring. 50,000. She'll never recover from that. Never. I can make it disappear, Dante says quietly. All of it. The debt, the blacklisting, the access to your accounts. I can make Marco understand that he needs to leave you alone, permanently. How? Elena's voice comes out as a whisper. How could you possibly? I have resources, connections, people who owe me favors. His expression is calm, matter of fact. I can fix this for you, Elena. All of it. If you let me. And what do you want in return? She forces herself to ask the question even though she's terrified of the answer. Nothing's free, especially not from men like you. Men like me? Dante's eyebrow raises. So you looked me up. Of course I did. You're... She lowers her voice. You're a criminal. The Romano family. Organized crime. I may be desperate, but I'm not stupid. No, you're not. He says it with something like approval. You're smart and cautious and right to be suspicious. But Elena, I'm not asking you to do anything illegal. I'm not asking you to compromise yourself or your values. Then what are you asking? Dante is quiet for a long moment, his dark eyes searching her face. I'm asking you to let me help, to trust that I can protect you and Sofia from Marco. And in return... He pauses. In return, I'd like to get to know you. Elena's heart skips. Get to know me. Have dinner with me. Let me take you somewhere nice. Let me see who you are when you're not drowning in survival mode. His voice is soft, persuasive. That's all I'm asking. A chance. That's not all you're asking. Elena's hands shake around her coffee mug. You're asking me to accept help from a mob boss. You're asking me to be associated with you. Do you know what that could mean for Sofia? For her safety? Which is why my protection extends to her too. Dante's expression hardens. Anyone who tried to hurt either of you to get to me would regret it for the very short remainder of their life. The casual way he talks about violence should horrify her. And it does. But it also makes her feel something she hasn't felt in 6 months. Safe. This is insane, Elena says, but her voice lacks conviction. I should tell you to leave, should walk away from this conversation and never look back. But you won't. It's not arrogance in his voice, it's certainty. Because you're drowning, Elena, and I'm offering you a life raft. A life raft with strings attached. Everything has strings. Dante reaches across the table, his hand stopping just short of touching hers. But mine are honest. I'm attracted to you. I want to know you. I want to help you because I can. And because something about you... He stops, searching for words. Something about you makes me want to be better than what I am. Elena stares at his hand, so close to hers. One touch. That's all it would take to cross this line. I need time, she hears herself say, to think about this. Of course. Dante pulls his hand back, but his eyes never leave her face. But while you're thinking, I'm going to fix your bank account situation. Consider it a gift with no strings attached. You can decide about the rest later. Dante. No arguments. His voice is gentle but firm. Your daughter needs to eat. You need to pay rent. Let me do this one thing. Then you can take all the time you need to decide about the rest. Before Elena can respond, Rosie appears at the table with Dante's pancakes. Here you go, Mr. Romano, on the house. That's not necessary. It is when you're sitting in my diner making eyes at my best waitress. Rosie gives him a look that's half warning, half approval. You treat her right, you hear me? Girl's been through enough. Yes, ma'am. Dante's lips curve in a genuine smile. I intend to. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Rosie walks away, and Elena finds herself almost smiling despite everything. She's protective. Good. You should have people protecting you. Dante cuts into his pancakes. These are excellent, by the way. You weren't lying. I don't lie. Elena stands, needing distance from his intensity. I have to get back to work. Elena. His voice stops her. I meant what I said. About all of it. Take your time. Think it through. but know that I'm not going anywhere." She nods, not trusting her voice, and walks back to the counter on shaking legs. The rest of her shift passes in a blur. Dante stays for an hour, eating slowly, working on his phone, his presence a constant awareness in her peripheral vision. When he finally leaves, he puts a $100 bill on the table for a $15 breakfast. Elena stares at it for a long moment before pocketing it. Pride is expensive, and Sofia needs shoes. That afternoon, after her shift ends, Elena checks her banking app on the bus ride home. Her prepaid card shows a balance of $5,000. Elena's hands shake so badly she nearly drops her phone. 5,000. He put $5,000 in her account. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. For rent, shoes for Sofia, and breathing room. No strings. Elena stares at the message, tears burning her eyes. She should send it back. Should refuse this gift that comes with so many complications. Instead, she types, "Thank you, but we still need to talk about this." His response is immediate. "Dinner tomorrow night? I'll pick you up at 7. Wear something comfortable." Elena's thumb hovers over the keyboard. This is the moment. Say no, and she stays in her safe, struggling world. Say yes, and everything changes. She thinks about Sofia's duct-taped shoes, about the 50,000 in debt she'll never escape, about the way Dante had looked at her like she was worth something. "Okay, but I'm paying for my own dinner." His response makes her smile despite everything. "We'll see about that." Dante sits in his office that evening, listening to Marco's report with half his attention. The other half is thinking about Elena Martinez, about the way she'd looked at him across that diner booth, suspicious and hopeful and terrified all at once. "Boss, are you listening?" Marco asks carefully. The shipment arrived clean, the distribution is handled, and the payment cleared through the usual channels. Dante doesn't look up from his phone. "I'm listening." "Right." Marco pauses. About the Martinez situation. Now Dante looks up. "What about it?" "Her ex-husband, Marco Reyes. We located him. He's been bragging to his friends about keeping that bitch in line. Apparently he's proud of what he's been doing to her." Rage, cold and controlled, floods through Dante's veins. "Has he tried to contact her directly?" "Not since the restraining order." "But boss." Marco hesitates. "He's planning something. We intercepted messages to his cousin. He's asking about custody lawyers, talking about filing for visitation rights with the daughter." Dante's hand tightens on his phone. He lost those rights when the restraining order was issued. "Yeah, but he thinks he can win them back. Says he's been gathering evidence of her instability. The bank account draining, the job loss, all of it. He's building a case to paint her as an unfit mother." The pieces click into place. Marco Reyes isn't just hurting Elena out of spite. He's systematically destroying her life to take their daughter. "Find him," Dante says quietly. "Bring him to the warehouse. Tonight." "Boss, are you sure? If this gets back to her, it won't." Dante stands, buttoning his jacket. "And Marco? Make sure his cousin understands that any legal action against Elena Martinez will be very bad for his health." "Understood." Dante stares out his window at the city lights. Elena doesn't know it yet, but her nightmare is about to end. Because Dante Romano protects what's his, and Elena Martinez, whether she's accepted it or not, is his. At 2 a.m., Marco Reyes kneels on the concrete floor of an abandoned warehouse, hands zip-tied behind his back, blood running from his nose where one of Dante's men hit him. Dante stands in front of him, hands in his pockets, expression calm. Behind him, 3 of his best men wait in silence. "Mr. Reyes," Dante says conversationally, "do you know who I am?" Marco spits blood. "Some tough guy who thinks he can—" The punch comes fast, precise, breaking Marco's nose with a wet crack. He screams. Let me rephrase, Dante says, his voice never rising. Do you know who I am? You're Dante Romano. Marco's words slur through blood and pain. Jesus Christ, what do you want with me? I want you to understand something very clearly. Dante crouches down so they're eye level. Elena Martinez and her daughter are under my protection now. That means several things. First, you will never access her bank accounts again. The malware you installed on her phone has been removed. The debt you put in her name has been erased. Your cousin will drop any and all legal proceedings against her. You can't. Second, Dante continues, you will never contact her again. No calls, no texts, no showing up at her home or work. You will not talk about her to your friends. You will not brag about what you did to her. You will forget she exists. She's the mother of my kid. I have rights. You have nothing. Dante's voice drops to a whisper. You beat her, Marco. You controlled her, isolated her, destroyed her career. You terrorized your own daughter. You have no rights. You have only the mercy I choose to give you. Marco's eyes widen with genuine fear. What are you going to do to me? That depends entirely on you. Dante stands. If you do what I say, if you leave Elena alone permanently, then you get to live. You get to keep your worthless life, and eventually find some other woman to victimize, though I'd strongly advise against it. And if I don't? Then you disappear. Dante says it matter-of-factly. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday, when you least expect it, you'll simply cease to exist. No body will ever be found. Your family will wonder. The police will investigate. But you'll just be another unsolved missing person case. The silence in the warehouse is deafening. Do we understand each other? Dante asks. Marco nods frantically, blood and tears running down his face. Yes. Yes, I understand. I'll leave her alone. I swear. Good. Dante nods to his men. Drive him home. Make sure he understands what happens if he breaks his word. As they drag Marco away, Dante's second-in-command approaches. Boss, are you sure this is wise? Getting involved with a civilian like this? Probably not. Dante pulls out his phone, looking at Elena's last message. Okay, but I'm paying for my own dinner. But I haven't done anything wise in years. Why start now? The next evening, Elena stands in front of her closet wearing only her underwear and trying not to panic. She has nothing appropriate for dinner with a man like Dante Romano. Her nicest dress is 4 years old, from back when Marco used to let her buy clothes. It's simple. Black. Maybe too simple. But it's clean, and it fits, and it's all she has. Sofia sits on the bed, watching with the intense focus only 5-year-olds possess. You look pretty, Mommy. Thank you, baby. Elena smooths the dress, checking herself in the mirror. The woman looking back is still too thin, still has circles under her eyes, but there's something different. A spark that's been missing. Hope, maybe. Or just the memory of how Dante had looked at her. Mrs. Chen arrives at 6:30, giving Elena a long, assessing look. This man, he's good to you? I don't know yet, Elena answers honestly. But I think he might be. Then you go. Enjoy yourself. Sofia and I will watch movies and eat popcorn. Popcorn? Sofia bounces on the bed. Can we watch the princess one? We can watch whatever you want, little one. Mrs. Chen smiles. Your mama deserves a night out. At exactly 7 p.m. there's a knock at the door. Elena opens it to find Dante standing in her hallway, and her breath catches. He's wearing dark jeans, a black shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows, and a leather jacket that probably costs more than her monthly rent. Casual, but somehow more devastating than the suits. His eyes sweep over her, and something hot and appreciative flashes in them. You look beautiful. You don't have to. I'm not being polite. He steps closer and Elena's back hits the door frame. You are genuinely beautiful, Elena. Even more so when you're not drowning in stress. Heat floods her cheeks. Thank you. Is this Sofia? Dante's attention shifts to the little girl peeking around Elena's legs. Sofia, this is Mr. Romano. Can you say hello? Sofia studies him with the brutal honesty of childhood. You're really tall. Are you a giant? Dante crouches down, bringing himself to her eye level. His whole demeanor softens. Not a giant, just tall. Your mama says you like princesses. I love princesses. Sofia's shyness evaporates. My favorite is Rapunzel because she's brave. Brave is good. Dante's smile is genuine. I bet you're brave like Rapunzel. I am. Mommy says I'm the bravest girl she knows. Then your mommy is very smart. Dante stands, his eyes meeting Elena's over Sofia's head. Ready? Elena nods, kissing Sofia goodbye and following Dante into the hallway. His hand settles on the small of her back as they descend the stairs, a touch that's both protective and possessive. Outside, a black SUV waits. Not the same one from the grocery store, but similar. Expensive, intimidating. A driver opens the back door. This is too much, Elena says as Dante helps her in. This is Tuesday. He slides in beside her. Wait until you see what I consider special. The drive takes them out of her neighborhood, through downtown, to a part of Chicago Elena rarely sees. Expensive restaurants, boutique shops, people who've never worried about declined cards or duct-taped shoes. They stop in front of a restaurant with no sign, just a discreet door and a man in a suit standing guard. Dante? Elena says as they get out. I can't afford. You're not paying, and before you argue, he takes her hand, the touch sending electricity up her arm. Let me do this. Let me show you that you deserve nice things, just for tonight. His eyes hold hers, and Elena finds herself nodding. Inside, the restaurant is dimly lit, intimate, with maybe 10 tables total. The host greets Dante by name, leading them to a private corner booth. Mr. Romano, your usual table, and may I say, it's lovely to see you with such beautiful company. They order wine, Dante ordering in Italian, the sommelier nodding with approval, and Elena tries not to feel completely out of her depth. You're nervous, Dante observes once they're alone. I don't belong here. Why not? Because I'm a waitress at a diner who can barely afford groceries. Elena gestures at the restaurant. And this is your world, I don't fit. Elena. Dante reaches across the table, taking her hand. 6 months ago, you were a nurse with a degree and a career. What happened to you doesn't define your worth. It just defines what happened to you. Tears burn her eyes. How do you do that? Do what? See me. Really see me. Everyone else looks through me like I'm invisible. Then everyone else is blind. His thumb traces circles on her palm. Tell me about you. Not the survival version, the real version. Who were you before Marco Reyes tried to destroy you? And somehow, in this expensive restaurant with this dangerous man, Elena finds herself talking about nursing school, about her dreams of working in pediatrics, about her family in Texas and how much she misses them, about Sofia and her laugh and her bravery. Dante listens like every word matters, asks questions that show he's really hearing her. And when dinner arrives, food so beautifully plated it seems wrong to eat it, he tells her about himself too. About growing up in his father's world, about learning that violence was currency, about his mother and how her death shaped him, about wanting to be different, to use his power for something other than destruction. I'm trying to legitimize the business, he says over dessert. It'll take years, maybe decades. But I'm trying. Why? Elena asks. You're already powerful. You could do anything. Because I want to be someone worthy of people like you. His dark eyes hold hers. Someone who doesn't just take, but actually builds something good. You're not what I expected, Elena admits. What did you expect? A monster, maybe, or at least someone cold and cruel. I can be those things. Dante's expression is serious. When I need to be. But Elena, I would never be those things to you. Or to Sofia. You've been thinking about Sofia. I've been thinking about both of you constantly since yesterday. He leans forward. I want to protect you. To give you the space to breathe again, to rebuild. I want Sofia to have the childhood she deserves without fear. And what do you want from me in return? This. He gestures between them. A chance. To see if this connection is real. To see if you could ever... He stops, searching for words. To see if you could ever care for a man like me. Elena's heart pounds. I barely know you. Then let me fix that. Dante's voice is soft, persuasive. Let me take you out again. Let me show you who I am when I'm not being the Romano boss. Just Dante. She should say no. Should protect herself and Sofia from this world of danger and complications. But when she looks at him, she doesn't see a monster. She sees a man who paid for her groceries, who tracked down her abuser, who crouched down to talk to her daughter eye to eye. She sees someone who might, impossibly, be her second chance. Okay, Elena whispers. One more date. But Dante, if this is going to be anything, you have to be honest with me. About what you do, about the risks, about everything. I promise. He raises her hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles that makes her breath catch. Complete honesty. Even the parts that might scare you. As they leave the restaurant, Dante's hand on her back, Elena realizes something terrifying and exhilarating. She's falling for him. For this dangerous, complicated, impossible man who sees her when everyone else looks away. And God help her, she doesn't want to stop. 3 weeks pass, and Elena's life transforms in ways she couldn't have imagined. The debt disappears from her credit report like it never existed. Her nursing license, which Marco had managed to get suspended through his cousin's influence, is mysteriously reinstated with a formal apology from the medical board. Her bank accounts become secure, protected by encryption she doesn't understand, but trusts because Dante arranged it. Marco himself vanishes from her life completely. No more drained accounts, no threatening messages relayed through mutual acquaintances, no surprise appearances outside Sofia's school. It's like he ceased to exist. Elena knows she should ask how Dante made this happen. Should question the methods he used. But when Sofia comes home from kindergarten excited about her new shoes, the ones without duct tape, Elena finds she doesn't want to know the details. Some gifts are better left unexamined. Dante has been true to his word about the dates. 3 more dinners at restaurants that don't have prices on the menus. A morning at the Art Institute when he rented out an entire gallery so Sofia could run through the exhibits without worrying about bothering other visitors. An evening at Navy Pier where he won Sofia a stuffed unicorn that's now her most prized possession. He's courting her. Old-fashioned, deliberate, patient. And Elena is falling harder with each passing day. Tonight, she's meeting him at his penthouse for the first time. He'd invited her for dinner, something he's cooking himself, he'd said with a smile that made her stomach flip. And she'd accepted before she could overthink it. Mrs. Chen watches Sofia for the evening, waving away Elena's attempts to pay her. That man of yours already handles it, she'd said. Very generous, very respectful. You picked well, Elena. Elena stands outside the building that houses Dante's penthouse, staring up at the glass and steel tower that probably has more square footage than her entire apartment building. The doorman recognizes her immediately. Miss Martinez, Mr. Romano is expecting you. Top floor, private elevator on your right. The elevator is lined with mirrors and soft lighting that makes Elena examine herself critically. She's wearing the one nice dress she owns, the black one from her first date with Dante, but she's added a silk scarf she found at a thrift store and styled her curls the way her mother taught her years ago. She looks nervous. She is nervous. The elevator opens directly into Dante's penthouse, and Elena's breath catches. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase Chicago's skyline like a painting. The space is massive but somehow still feels intimate, decorated in dark woods and leather with touches of warmth that surprise her. Books everywhere, art on the walls that looks original, and in the open kitchen, Dante Romano in jeans and a black Henley, cooking. He looks up when she enters, and his smile transforms his face from dangerous to devastating. Elena, you're early. The traffic was better than I expected. She steps off the elevator, suddenly unsure what to do with her hands. Do you want help with anything? I want you to pour us wine and tell me about your day. He gestures to the bottle breathing on the counter. Glasses are in the cabinet to your left. Elena pours, hyper-aware of his presence as he moves around the kitchen with surprising competence. The scent of garlic and herbs fills the air, making her stomach growl despite her nervousness. So, she says, settling onto a bar stool across from where he's working. You really can cook? My Nona insisted. Said a man who couldn't feed himself was useless. Dante's voice holds affection. She was from Sicily. Came here with nothing but recipes and stubbornness. Sounds like someone I'd have liked. She would have loved you. He glances up, his dark eyes soft. Would have said you had la forza, strength, and she was never wrong about people. Did she know about... Elena hesitates. About the family business? She knew. Dante's jaw tightens slightly. Hated it. Spent years trying to convince my father to go legitimate. After he killed my mother, he stops, his hand stilling on the knife he's using. After that, Nona stopped trying to save him. She focused on saving me instead. Did it work? Dante is quiet for a long moment, then looks at her directly. I don't know yet. Ask me in 10 years. The honesty in his answer steals her breath. He's not pretending to be someone he's not making promises about reformation he might not keep, just admitting he's trying. You said you'd be honest with me, Elena says carefully. About what you do, about the risks. I did. Dante sets down his knife, giving her his full attention. What do you want to know? Everything. She meets his eyes. If we're going to be anything real, I need to know what I'm stepping into. What Sofia would be exposed to. Dante nods slowly, respect flickering in his expression. He pours himself wine, leans against the counter, and begins to talk. He tells her about the Romano Empire, the legitimate businesses that make up 60% of his income, the less legitimate ones that still exist, but he's systematically phasing out. The protection rackets he's ended, the drug operations he's refused to touch, the human trafficking he's actively worked to eliminate from Chicago. I'm not a saint, he says bluntly. I've hurt people, killed people who threatened what's mine. I've bent laws and broken them when I needed to, but I have lines I won't cross. Children, women, civilians who aren't part of this world, they're untouchable. And the people who do cross those lines? His expression hardens. They learn very quickly that there are consequences. Elena should be horrified, should be running for the elevator. But she thinks about Marco, about how he disappeared from her life completely, and she realizes she already knows what Dante is capable of. What about enemies? She asks. People who might want to hurt you through me? Through Sofia? I have enemies. Dante's voice is matter of fact. Rival families, law enforcement, people who think they can take what I've built. But Elena, I have more resources than any of them. More loyalty, more reach, more willingness to do what needs to be done. Anyone who tried to touch you or Sofia wouldn't live long enough to regret it. The certainty in his voice should frighten her. Instead, it makes her feel protected. I'm being selfish, Dante continues quietly. Bringing you into this world, you deserve better than a man with blood on his hands, but I can't seem to make myself walk away from you. Why? Elena's voice comes out as a whisper. Why me? You could have anyone, someone from your world who understands it, who wouldn't need protecting. Dante moves around the counter, stopping directly in front of her, close enough that she can feel his warmth, see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Because you see me, he says simply. Not the Romano name, not the money or the power. You see, the man trying to be better than his father. And Elena, when you look at me like I'm worth something more than violence. His voice roughens. That makes me want to become that man. For you. Elena's breath catches. She should maintain distance, should keep thinking clearly. But Dante is so close, and his eyes are so intense, and she's been alone for so long. Dante, she whispers, I'm scared. I know. His hand comes up to cup her face, his thumb brushing her cheekbone. I'm scared too, because this, what I feel for you, is more dangerous than any rival family. It gives me a weakness, something precious that enemies could target. Then maybe we shouldn't, don't. His other hand frames her face now, holding her gently but firmly. Don't finish that sentence, because Elena, I would rather face every risk in the world than walk away from this. From you. This is crazy, Elena breathes, but she's already leaning into his touch. Probably. Dante's lips curve in a slight smile. But I haven't done anything sane since I saw you in that grocery store. He leans in slowly, giving her time to pull away. She doesn't. Their lips meet in a kiss that's soft, searching, devastating. Elena's hands grip his shirt as he pulls her closer, and she feels herself melting into him, into this impossible, dangerous, wonderful man. When they break apart, both breathing hard, Dante rests his forehead against hers. Stay for dinner, he murmurs. Stay the evening. Let me show you what this could be. Elena should say no, should protect her heart, should think about Sofia and responsibilities, and all the reasons this can't work. Instead, she nods. Okay. Dinner is perfect. Homemade pasta with a sauce that tastes like it took hours, fresh bread, a salad with ingredients Elena can't even name. They eat at his dining table overlooking the city, talking about everything and nothing. Books they love, places they've been, dreams they've had. Dante tells her about his plans for the Romano Empire, about legitimizing more of the business, about building something Sofia's generation won't be ashamed of. Elena talks about wanting to work in pediatrics again, about the nursing job at a small clinic that mysteriously opened up this week. No questions asked about her gap in employment. You did that, she says, realizing. You got me that interview. I made a phone call. Dante's expression is unapologetic. You earned it on your own merit. They loved your credentials. Dante, Elena, I'm going to use my resources to help you. You can either accept it gracefully or fight me at every step. His lips twitch. Either way, I'm not stopping. After dinner, they move to his living room. Dante builds a fire in the fireplace, because of course he has a fireplace in a penthouse, and they settle on his leather couch with more wine. Tell me about Sofia's father, Dante says quietly. How it started. How it ended. Elena tenses. Why do you want to know? Because it's part of you. Part of what made you who you are. His hand finds hers, warm and steady. And because I need to understand what you survived so I never do anything that reminds you of him. The thoughtfulness of that answer breaks something open in Elena's chest. She starts talking. About meeting Marco when she was 24, fresh out of nursing school, naive and hopeful. How charming he'd been at first, how attentive, how the control had crept in gradually, checking her phone, isolating her from friends, deciding what she wore. How the first time he hit her, she'd convinced herself it was an accident. The second time, that she'd provoked him. By the time she realized the pattern, she was pregnant and terrified. I stayed for Sofia, Elena says, her voice tight. Told myself I could manage it, that she needed a father. But then one day, Sofia was 3, and she flinched when Marco raised his voice. She'd started learning that men's anger meant pain. Tears streamed down her face now. That's when I knew I had to leave. I couldn't let her grow up thinking that was normal. Dante's arm comes around her, pulling her against his chest. His heartbeat steady under her ear, his hand stroking her hair. You were brave. Getting out, starting over, protecting her. That takes more strength than most people have. I don't feel brave. I feel like I'm barely surviving. You're doing more than surviving. Dante tilts her face up, his eyes fierce. You're fighting. And Elena, I swear to you, on everything I am, I will never hurt you the way he did. I will never make you afraid of me. You're a violent man, Elena whispers. You've admitted that. To my enemies. To people who threaten what's mine. His thumb brushes away her tears. But never to you. Never to Sofia. That's a line I will never cross no matter what. Elena studies his face, seeing the absolute conviction there. How can I know that for sure? You can't. Not yet. Dante's honesty is brutal but clean. You'll have to trust me, and I'll have to prove myself, every single day for as long as it takes. They sit like that for a long time, Elena curled against Dante's chest, his arms around her, the fire crackling in front of them. It feels safe. It feels like home. Elena's phone buzzes. A text from Mrs. Chen. Sofia is asleep. Take your time, dear. Enjoy your evening. I should go soon, Elena says reluctantly. It's getting late. Stay. Dante's voice is low. Not like that. I have guest rooms. But stay. Let me make you breakfast in the morning. Let me have one full evening where I know you're safe and cared for. Elena pulls back to look at him. You're asking me to spend the night. In the guest room, with the door locked if it makes you feel safer. His hand cups her face. I just want more time with you, Elena. That's all. She should say no. Should maintain boundaries. Should not spend the night at a Mafia boss's penthouse. Okay, she hears herself say, but I need to be home by 8. Sofia will worry if I'm not there when she wakes up. The smile that breaks across Dante's face is worth every risk she's taking. I'll have you home by 7:30. Elena wakes in a bed more comfortable than anything she's ever slept in, wrapped in sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, and for a moment she forgets where she is. Then memory returns. Dante's penthouse. The guest room he'd shown her to, complete with new toiletries still in their packaging and a robe softer than clouds. The way he'd kissed her forehead at the door and whispered goodnight, like it was a promise. She checks her phone. 6:30 a.m. The smell of coffee drifts under the door. Elena wraps herself in the robe and pads out to the kitchen, following the scent. Dante stands at the counter, already dressed in workout clothes, his hair damp from a shower. He looks up when she enters, and his smile is warm. Good morning. Coffee? Please. Elena settles onto a bar stool, accepting the mug he pours. It's perfect. The right amount of cream, a touch of sugar. He remembered from their previous dates. What time did you get up? 5. I don't sleep much. He starts pulling out ingredients. Omelets, okay? You don't have to cook for me again. I want to. Dante begins chopping vegetables with practiced efficiency. Elena, there's something I need to tell you. The serious tone makes her stomach clench. What? Your ex-husband filed paperwork yesterday. He's trying to get visitation rights reinstated. Dante's jaw tightens. My lawyers will make sure it doesn't happen, but I wanted you to know. Fear spikes through Elena. How? The restraining order. He's claiming he's reformed, got character witnesses, enrolled in anger management classes, the whole act. Dante's knife moves faster. But it's a lie. He's doing this to hurt you, to maintain control. Sofia can't see him. Elena's hands shake around her coffee mug. Dante, she's finally feeling safe. If he gets access to her, he won't. Dante sets down his knife and comes around the counter, taking her hands. I promise you, Elena, he won't get near either of you. How can you stop a court order? Dante's expression hardens into something cold and lethal. Because Marco Reyes is going to decide, very suddenly, that he doesn't want visitation after all. He's going to withdraw his petition and disappear from your lives permanently. Elena stares at him, understanding dawning. What are you going to do to him? Nothing that will put me in legal jeopardy. Dante's voice is calm, controlled. But he needs to understand that continuing to threaten you has consequences. Real consequences. Dante, Elena, listen to me. His hands tighten on hers. I know you want to handle this legally, properly. But men like Marco don't respond to restraining orders or court filings. They respond to fear. And I'm very good at making people afraid. She should be horrified. Should tell him to stop, to let the legal system work. But she thinks about Sofia flinching at raised voices, about the bruises Marco gave her that took weeks to heal, about the terror of wondering when he'll hurt her daughter next. Make him understand, Elena whispers, but don't. Don't do anything that could take you away from me, from us. Something fierce and possessive flashes in Dante's eyes. Us, he repeats. I like the sound of that. I'm terrified of how much I'm starting to care about you, Elena admits. Good. Dante pulls her close, his arms wrapping around her. Because I'm already in love with you. Have been since I saw you refuse to cry in that grocery store. Elena's breath catches. Dante. You don't have to say it back. He presses a kiss to her forehead. I just needed you to know. Whatever happens, whatever you decide about me and this life, I love you. You and Sofia both. Tears burn Elena's eyes. This is crazy. We've known each other 3 weeks. 22 days, Dante corrects, and I've spent every moment of them falling harder. So yes, it's crazy. But Elena, I don't think I can stop. Don't think I want to. Elena pulls back to look at him, seeing the truth written plainly in his face. This dangerous, powerful man loves her, really loves her. I'm falling too, she whispers, and it terrifies me. Then we'll be terrified together. Dante's smile is soft. Now let me make you breakfast before I take you home to your daughter. That afternoon, while Sofia naps, Elena's phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Miss Martinez. The voice is male, professional. This is Detective James Morrison with Chicago PD. I'm calling regarding Marco Reyes. Elena's blood runs cold. What about him? He came into the station this morning, wanted to file a report about being threatened. The detective pauses, but then he decided against it. Withdrew his custody petition too. Said he's moving to Florida. Wants to start fresh. He's leaving? Appears so. Bought a one-way plane ticket. Left this afternoon. Another pause. Miss Martinez, did you have anything to do with this sudden change of heart? No, Elena says honestly. I haven't spoken to Marco in 6 months. Right. Well, just so you know, if he does try to contact you again, we take restraining order violations seriously. Don't hesitate to call. After the detective hangs up, Elena stares at her phone. Marco is gone. Just like that. Leaving Chicago, leaving Sofia, leaving her alone. Her phone buzzes. A text from Dante. Problem solved. He won't bother you again. I promise. Elena should ask how he did it. Should question the methods. Should worry about what threat Dante made to convince Marco to give up and run. Instead, she texts back. Thank you. For everything. His response is immediate. Always. That's what family does. Family. The word makes Elena's chest ache with hope and fear all tangled together. That evening, after Sofia is in bed, Elena stands at her window looking out at the Chicago skyline. Somewhere out there, Dante Romano is probably working, managing his empire, being the dangerous man he admits he is. But he's also the man who learned what coffee she likes, who cooks her breakfast, who crouches down to talk to her daughter at eye level, who looks at her like she's precious, who loves her. Elena pulls out her phone and makes a decision that will change everything. Can I see you tomorrow? I want to talk about us. About the future. Dante's reply comes 30 seconds later. I'll pick you up at 7. And Elena, whatever you decide, I'll respect it. Even if it's not what I want to hear. But Elena already knows what she's going to say. She's terrified and hopeful and stepping into unknown territory. But for the first time in 6 months, she's not just surviving. She's living. 2 months later, Elena stands in Dante's penthouse kitchen, teaching Sofia how to make her grandmother's tamales. Dante watches from the counter, his laptop open but ignored, a smile playing at his lips. You have to fold it like this, see? Elena demonstrates. Tight, but not too tight. Like a baby blanket, Sofia declares, her small hands covered in masa. Exactly like that, mi amor. Dante's phone buzzes. He glances at it, his expression hardening slightly before he types a quick response. Business. Always business. But he's been true to his word about compartmentalizing. When he's with them, he's present. Fully there. The custody paperwork came through last week. Marco terminated his parental rights voluntarily, signing over full custody to Elena. The lawyer said it was unprecedented how quickly everything processed. Elena knows Dante had a hand in that too. She's stopped asking how he makes things happen. Some gifts are better left unexamined. Mami, Sofia says, looking up with masa on her nose. Is Dante going to be my new daddy? The question makes both adults freeze. Elena's heart hammers. They haven't talked about this. About what they are to each other. About the future. About how to explain Dante to a 5-year-old. Dante sets down his phone and comes around the counter, kneeling beside Sofia's chair. What do you think about that? He asks gently. Would you like that? Sofia considers with the seriousness only children possess. Will you teach me Italian like you promised? Of course. And read me stories? Every night if you want. And protect Mami? Because she said you keep us safe. Dante's eyes flick to Elena, something intense and tender in his expression. With everything I have. Always. Sofia nods decisively. Then okay. You can be my daddy, but... She holds up one masa-covered finger. You have to promise to never make Mami cry like the bad man did. I promise. Dante's voice is rough with emotion. I will never hurt your Mami. Never. Okay. Sofia goes back to her tamales like the matter is settled. Can we have ice cream? After dinner? Absolutely. Dante stands, moving to Elena, his hand settling on the small of her back. Is this okay? He asks quietly, just for her. Elena looks at Sofia humming while she works, at the man who's become her protector and partner, at the life they're building together from broken pieces. Yes, she whispers. This is okay. This is more than okay. That night, after Sofia is asleep in the guest room, she's been staying over more and more, Dante's penthouse becoming a second home. Elena and Dante sit on his balcony overlooking the city. I got the job, Elena says, curling into his side. The pediatric clinic. They want me to start in 2 weeks. Dante's arm tightens around her. That's incredible. Congratulations. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. You just needed someone to remove the obstacles Marco put in your way. He presses a kiss to her hair. You're brilliant, Elena. The job is lucky to have you. They sit in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the city lights. Dante, Elena says carefully. Sofia's question earlier, about you being her father. How do we handle that? Dante is quiet for a long moment. Then he shifts, pulling something from his pocket. A small velvet box. Elena's breath catches. I was going to wait, Dante says, opening the box to reveal a ring. Simple, elegant, a single diamond that catches the light. Going to plan something elaborate. But Elena, I don't want to wait anymore. I want to be Sofia's father legally. I want to be your husband. I want us to be a real family. Tears stream down Elena's face. Dante. I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. I know my world is dangerous and you'd be taking a risk. He takes her hand, his thumb stroking over her knuckles. But I love you. I love Sofia. And I want to spend every day for the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you both. You already are, Elena whispers. You saved us. You gave us our lives back. No. Dante's eyes are fierce. You saved yourselves. I just made sure you had the space to do it. He pulls out the ring. Elena Martinez, will you marry me? Will you let me protect you and love you and build something beautiful with you? Elena should think about this. Should consider all the complications. Should worry about enemies and danger and the life she's stepping into. But when she looks at Dante, she sees the man who paid for her groceries when a cashier tried to humiliate her, who crouched down to talk to her daughter, who loves her fiercely and honestly and completely. Yes, she says, laughing through tears. Yes, I'll marry you. Dante slides the ring onto her finger and it fits perfectly, because of course it does. Then he's kissing her, deep and thorough and full of promise. When they break apart, both smiling, Elena feels something she hasn't felt in years. Hope. Real, tangible hope for the future. I have a condition, though, she says, suddenly serious. Anything. You keep working toward legitimizing the business. Keep trying to be better. Not for me, but for yourself. For Sofia. Elena cups his face. I need to know you're trying to build a world where Sofia won't be ashamed of her father's name. I promise. Dante's expression is solemn. It's already happening. 5 more businesses went legitimate last month. In 5 years, maybe 10, the Romano name will mean real estate and restaurants, not organized crime. Then I'm all in. Elena leans into him. Terrified, but all in. We'll be terrified together. Dante pulls her close. And Elena? Thank you. For what? For seeing me. For giving me a reason to be better. His voice is rough with emotion. For loving me despite everything. I don't love you despite anything. Elena kisses him softly. I love you because of who you are. All of it. The dangerous parts and the gentle parts and everything in between. They stay on the balcony until the early hours of morning, planning a future that seemed impossible just 2 months ago, talking about wedding dates and adoption papers for Sofia, and the house Dante wants to buy, where Sofia can have a yard and a dog. Inside, Sofia sleeps peacefully, safe and protected and loved. And Elena realizes that sometimes salvation comes from the most unexpected places. That sometimes the man who steps forward when your card declines is the man who will change your entire life. That sometimes, impossibly, fairy tales do come true. 6 months later, Elena Romano, she'd taken his name eagerly, wanting to shed the last connection to her past, stands in the kitchen of their new house, watching through the window as Dante pushes Sofia on the swing set he built himself. Her daughter's laughter carries on the wind, pure and joyful and free. Elena's hand drifts to her stomach, to the small swell that's just beginning to show. She hasn't told Dante yet, wants to wait for the right moment. Behind her, the doorbell rings. She opens it to find Rosie from the diner, carrying a casserole. "Thought you might like some real food," Rosie says, pushing past her into the house. "This fancy neighborhood probably doesn't have decent cooking." Elena laughs, hugging the older woman. "It's good to see you." "You too, girl." Rosie sets down the casserole and studies Elena. "You look happy. Really happy." "I am." Elena glances out the window at her family. Terrified sometimes, but happy. "That man treating you right?" "Better than I ever imagined possible." "Good." Rosie's expression is fierce. "Because if he doesn't, you call me. I'll take him down myself, mob boss or not." Elena laughs, but she knows Rosie means it. She's surrounded by people who protect her now. Dante's family, his men who've become uncles to Sofia, Mrs. Chen who still babysits and fusses over all of them. After Rosie leaves, Elena joins Dante and Sofia in the yard. Dante immediately pulls her close, his hand settling possessively on her hip. "Everything okay?" he asks. "Everything's perfect." Elena rises on her toes to kiss him. "I have something to tell you later, when Sofia's asleep." Interest flares in his eyes. "Good news?" "The best news." She smiles up at him. "But it can wait. Right now, I just want to enjoy this moment." They stand together watching Sofia play, and Elena thinks about the woman she was 6 months ago. Desperate, scared, barely surviving. Standing in a grocery store while a cashier tried to humiliate her. Never could she have imagined this. This house, this life, this love. "What are you thinking?" Dante asks softly. "That sometimes the worst moments of our lives lead to the best ones." Elena leans into him. "That card declining was the best thing that ever happened to me." Dante's laugh is warm against her hair. "Pretty sure I'm the best thing that ever happened to you." Cocky. Confident. He turns her in his arms. And right. Elena looks up at this man who stepped forward when she needed help, who saw her when she was invisible, who loved her when she thought she was unlovable. "Yeah," she admits, smiling. "You're right." That night, after she tells Dante about the baby and he cries, actual tears of joy that he tries to hide, they lie together in their bed. Sofia is asleep down the hall. The house is quiet and safe, and the future stretches out before them full of possibility. "Thank you," Elena whispers into the darkness. "For what?" "For stepping forward, for trying your card, for seeing me." She presses a kiss over his heart. "For loving me." Dante's arms tighten around her. "Elena, you saved me as much as I saved you. Maybe more. Then we saved each other." "Yeah." His voice is rough with emotion. "We did." And as Elena drifts off to sleep, safe and loved and home, she thinks about that moment in the grocery store. About a sneering cashier and a declined card and a stranger who became everything. About how sometimes salvation comes from unexpected places. About how sometimes, impossibly, love finds you in the checkout line. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.